Caleb Martin took over versus the Boston Celtics. The Miami Heat on Monday night were able to deflect the Celtics 3-0 comeback attempt and have advanced to play the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals. And while Jimmy Butler had a few great moments throughout this series, it was Caleb Martin who played consistently throughout, and it was Caleb Martin who took over in Game 7. How's it going, my friend? I'm Alexander from Load Management Media, and let's talk about how Caleb Martin was the most important player for the Miami Heat in their series versus the Boston Celtics. Caleb Martin isn't exactly a household NBA name, but he was pretty good throughout the regular season. In the 2023 regular season, Martin had career highs across the board, averaging 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 steal per game, shooting 45% from the field and 36% from 3. Decent numbers. Before the postseason, he was always a perfect guy that would just step up in big moments and play great rotational minutes for your team. The perfect 3-and-D guy. But in the playoffs, well, I mean, you've seen it. He's just gone to a completely different level. Versus the Boston Celtics, he averaged a mind-boggling 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 steal per game, shooting a red-hot 60% from the field and 49% from 3. To put these numbers into context, in the playoffs, Martin averaged 9 points per game more than he did in the regular season. And even more crazily, Martin shot 9% more from 3 than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown did combined. 49% for Martin versus 40% for Tatum and Brown. That's unbelievable. Essentially, Caleb Martin was on one. Caleb Martin was pretty much fantastic in every aspect of the game. Offensively, we know how well he scored the ball, but the ways he did it were pretty crazy. He was driving past Celtics players and getting to the rim and finishing with contact against some of their premier rim protectors and defenders like Robert Williams and Al Horford. He was shooting the ball lights out via catch and shoot. I mean, pretty much every time he got the ball, when I was looking at the screen, I just turned my head the other way because I knew it was going to go in. That's how great he was shooting the ball. But probably the biggest surprise in his game was his off-the-dribble scoring and shot creation. I mean, he was just taking the ball and pretty much doing whatever he wanted with it. Taking tough fadeaway jumpers, some pull-ups, and pulling up in transition from 3, like stuff that you'd never think somebody like Caleb Martin would do. But he did it, and he did it well. Pretty much any kind of shot, you name it, Caleb Martin probably tried it in this series, and he probably made it as well. And that's ridiculously impressive considering his reputation normally as just a 3-and-D guy. A good one, but just a 3-and-D guy. And defensively, obviously he played well. He was really disruptive at the top of Miami's zone there on the wings, and he was really disruptive and was really great on ball as well, stealing from some of the Celtics guys and just being super active on the defensive end of the ball. Martin was arguably the most consistent player of the series for Miami and was probably worthy of the ECF MVP. I mean, there's been a lot of debate about it, but I'd probably give my vote to Martin. Although Jimmy Butler had higher highs than Caleb Martin, he also had lower lows. Games 5 and 6 were pretty brutal for Jimmy, but Caleb Martin was consistent throughout, and although in Game 7 Jimmy played pretty well and he was a huge part of Miami winning the game, Caleb Martin from start to finish was fantastic. And Martin was really the X factor for the Heat. Of course, I'm not saying that Jimmy Butler is a better player than Caleb Martin. You'd have to be out of your mind to think that. But in this series, Caleb Martin overall was more consistent and he was just more impressive. The Heat have been an unpredictable team all playoffs, and that won't change this finals. I don't even know who to pick anymore, but if they can get this kind of production from their role players and this borderline all-star stuff from Caleb Martin, they'll be tough to beat. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see some more original, consistent content talking about everything there is to be talked about in the NBA related world, then this is the place for you. I'll be putting out at least 2 pieces of NBA content a week, so if that interests you, consider hitting a like and a sub. And as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.